This conference will now be recorded.
All right, guys, welcome to the first class. And the first class is going to be over the Disciplined Trader, which was a text that you were supposed to read before class, really take into it, really understand what the author was going through, really get that emotional connection with the book, and actually know why people do what they do in trading. Because they have, and if you would keep your mics mute so we don't get any feedback, I'd appreciate that. So, supposed to read the Disciplined Trader to get our humanistic point of views of trading, to see why people do what they do in trading and why is there a common ground between everybody in their emotions and how they act during certain areas of trading and certain situations in trading, as in revenge trading, as in emotional decisions, as in just wanting to get everything back or wanting to triple your money in one day. So all these things and behaviors that we do have reasons. And these reasons are discussed and evaluated in this book. So let's get into this. There's a couple key things I want to go over, so I'm going to be highlighting a couple areas. If you're still reading the book, continue to read it even after this class. I want you to finish it because each person has their own journey and it's going to affect them differently because each person is going to be hitting key points to themselves. Not everybody has the same key points that need to be hit. So, way new of thinking methodology. So, the irony, of course, is on the surface, trading looks so simple. I had a guy message me yesterday. He said, "Oh, I have a $25,000 account and I want to make $7,000 a week. I'm going to do that with you, or can your system do that?" And I'm just like, okay, first of all, you don't have a realistic ideal of what trading is, because trading is one of the most difficult things that you're ever going to have to do in your life. So if you think you have $25,000 and you want to make 120% every month, then you have something else coming to you. So the irony is, of course, that on the surface, trading looks so simple, when in fact, most people will find it the most difficult thing or difficult endeavor that they will have to undertake. Success will always seem so close and yet always so elusive. And this frustration will continue until the trader adapts to the conditions that exist in the trading environment by learning a new thinking methodology, one that works most effectively in the environment and not what he thinks will work based on cultural or social upbringings. So basically, we're all conditioned. We're all conditioned to think, behave, and react a certain way. And we are conditioned from the way that we are born, right? From where we are born into a family, okay? A family or an environment, right? Environment or family that has certain cultural upbringing, certain behavioral upbringings, certain rules, certain traditions. Now, from that, we start to build on our way of thinking, right? Whether that is our social upbringing, whether that's our friends that we meet in school, and the behavior that we meet, adapting in school. Did we go to a private school? Did we go to a public school? Did we go to a military school? Whatever that is, it creates that behavior, right? Your expectations in life and your determinations in life are all controlled upon your cultural upbringings, your social upbringings. And that's also going to give you that expectations in the market. All right. So that's number one thing that we have to, identify. What is our social upbringing? What is our cultural upbringing? Now, cultural learned behavior that results in an unsuccessful trading experience. Number one, refusing to define a loss. Okay. So when you're losing in a trade and it's lost its support and it's going negative and it's not holding where it should be holding, but you're either too heavy in it or you're you're gung-ho about this particular stock, and you're going to refuse to define this loss. Okay, can't do that, or you're going to lose more. 2, not liquidating a losing trade even after you have not acknowledged the trade's potential is greatly diminished. So same thing as refusing to define a loss. The trade lost support. It's not holding where it's supposed to hold. It's maybe outside of a pattern that it shouldn't be, and you do not want to exit it. Okay, this has a social or cultural upbringing relation as you're in denial, right? Whatever it is, you're in denial about it. You need to understand that there is no denial here. It's just plain facts and numbers. If you cannot follow that, then you need to step back and realize that maybe trading isn't for you. Because if you're too stuck and stubborn to follow what you say you're going to follow, then you're always going to lose money. Number 3, getting locked into a specific opinion or belief about market direction. From a psychological perspective, this is equivalent to trying to control the market with your expectations of what it will do. I'm right, the market is wrong. Okay, this is again being stubborn. You cannot be stubborn. You cannot be one track minded, right? You cannot say, oh, we're just buy the dips always because it's never going to go down. Okay, because you get locked in that and something happens, and guess what? Buying the dip could turn into you losing 80% of your portfolio. Yeah, I've seen it happen. Now, 4, focusing on price and monetary value of a trade instead of the potential of the market to move based on its behavior and structure. All right, focusing on price and the monetary value of a trade instead of the potential for the market to move based on its behavior and structure. You're basically looking at your bank account, right? It's the same thing as looking at your bank account and watching your bank account go up and down. Okay, you're going to be very emotional. Okay, you don't focus on the amount of money that you're going to make. You focus on the trade potential. You focus on the amount of money you're going to make. Guess what? You're going to be making emotional decisions. You make emotional decisions, you're going to make very bad decisions. Okay, you looking at your bank account go up and down, you're going to get excited, very excited when it goes up. You're going to get very depressed and anxious when it goes down. Okay, you do not trade the P&L, you trade the chart. Okay, so look for the trade potential and stick with the potential. Do not focus on the monetary value. The monetary value will come if the potential is there. All right, number 5, revenge trading as if you were trying to get back at the market for what it took away from you. Okay, the market doesn't know you. Market doesn't know you exist. Market doesn't care about your family situation, your brothers or sisters, your kids, your marriage situation. It doesn't care about anything. Doesn't know that your rent's due on the 1st. Doesn't matter. Market doesn't know you exist. It's just money. That's all it is. The market's gonna participate, right? And the market's gonna give you opportunities to participate. You choose to participate or not. The market's gonna do what it does whether you're participating or not. So you revenge trading, trying to get back at the market, doesn't make any sense because the market doesn't know who you are, doesn't know you exist. And if you revenge trade, it's probably just going to take more money from you and probably going to, make you not want to be in the market anymore. So revenge trading, we've all done it. It's human nature. You got to stop doing it. Okay. 6, not reversing your position even when you clearly sense a change in market direction. So when you have this opinion about the market, but it completely goes the opposite way, and you get out of your position and you see that it's lost a very strong level and it's going the opposite way, but you just look at it, you don't participate in where it's actually going, because it's not what you believed it was going to do, right? It didn't go in line with what you believed, so you're not going to do it. That's fine, but you're gonna miss out on opportunity right there. There's a market's giving you a chance to participate. You're not participating because you're more so in stuck in your mind of your maybe a little bit of ego right there as well. Number 7, not following the rules of a trading system. I'm going to provide you a trading system. There are rules to this trading system, and it is up to you to follow that trading system. Okay, if you don't follow the trading system, then you're actually most likely trading on emotions or trading blindly. Okay, number 8, planning for a move or feeling like one's building, but then finding yourself immobilized to hit the bid or offer, the buy or sell, and therefore denying yourself the opportunity to profit. Now, this happens a lot when people get too emotionally hurt by the market, thinking that the market is out to get them. Like again, market doesn't know who you are, market doesn't care. The market's just going to do what it does. So it's not out to get you. It's not out to get anyone. Sometimes it's choppy, sometimes it's flowing. Okay, market's always going to be there presenting opportunities. It is up to you to find these opportunities and profit from them. Okay, if you get immobilized and feel like you cannot enter, even if the trade setup is very good, you're going to find yourself missing the opportunity to profit and maybe even chasing. And when you chase, you miss most of the move. You might get a little bit, but then most of the time you're going to get the end of it, and it's going to go against you because you're not going to get enough of what you want, and then you're going to get hurt again. Okay. Number 9, not acting on your instincts or intuition. As you look at charts every day, as you chart more and more and more, you start creating these actions and behaviors, and you build these instincts and intuitions. These instincts are built on things that you do quite often. Baseball players, football players, hockey players, tennis players, they all have instincts on those specific talents because they do them all the time. Okay? Repetition is the key to success, right? So if you continue to do things, the reason why the repetition is the key to success is because repetition creates those intuitions, those instincts. Because as you do it continuously, and you look at this, you look at that, you draw these patterns, look at this, look at these setups, your mind understands that these are important, and you focus so much on them, so it creates intuitions, instincts, because you see them so much, you do them so much, it already automatically is doing the work for you. Okay, so our minds are smarter than us, right? They know things, they put things in order faster than we actually can. Even though we think we're doing it, our 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 unconscious mind is actually doing it, right? Number 10, establishing a consistent pattern of trading success over a period of time and then giving all your winnings back to the market in 1 or 2 trades and starting the cycle over again. So this is very similar to revenge trading, right? You're doing well, you're trading small, doing well, trading good, then you like, I'm going to go heavier, and then you start getting into your old habits. Okay? After you just got out of your old habits, and then you go back, start that cycle all over again. You don't want to do that. The growth that you get, you want to continue that growth, maybe have a few step backs, but you want to continue that growth. Your trading portfolio should always look like a stock graph. It should be trending up with some pullbacks, but it should be continuously trending up. Okay. Now, sometimes there's some deeper pullbacks, right? Some corrections, but should be trending up overall. All right. Now, skills to be acquired. All right, so we all learned right here the 10 things that our social and cultural upbringings make us have to actually lose money. Now, the skills that we have to get in order to be successful is we have to learn the dynamics of goal achievement so you can stay positively focused on what you want, not what you fear. Now, that is what we're going to learn today. Now, today is a very important class, probably the most important class. Even though we do not do anything technically with charts, it is the most important class because if you don't get this foundation correct, you don't get this foundation down, doesn't matter how well you are at charts, you're going to lose money. So this is very important. This whole class is very important. So do not put this class on the back burner, okay? Many of my students always say they come back to the first lesson. First lesson always establishes them a better trader. Number one, learning the dynamics of goal achievement so you can positively focus on what you want. Focus on what you want, not what you fear. Now, what do you fear? Everybody trading in the market, they all fear what? They all fear losing money. Why? Because money provides for needs and wants. Okay? If you lose money, you lose what you could buy yourself and what you need to buy yourself. Okay? You fear losing, and whatever you focus on is what you're going to get. So you need to learn the dynamics of goal achievement, which is very, very important. We're going to go over that in the second half of this class, and we're going to learn how to stay positively focused on what we want. Okay, that is difficult. 90% of the people that trade in the market don't know what they want. All they want to know is they want to make money. And that's not really knowing what you want, because money could be $1. You want to make money? Sure. Here's 50 cents that you just gained. You made money. What does that mean to you? What do you want to do? You need to have established goals. I want to take my portfolio that is $5,000 and I want to trade it and grow it by a certain amount. I want to take my portfolio that's $50,000 and I want to grow it to a certain amount because I want to grow it to this specific amount because of retirement, or because I need a new car, or because I need a vacation, or because I want to quit my job, and if I use this money and make this money over this period of time, say a year, then that's going to replace my income at work, and that's going to prove to me that I could leave my job or get a different job with less hours and do both part-time. So what is your goal? What do you need to focus on? What do you need to have in mind? You need to know why you're even here. You need to know why you even want to trade. You need to know what you want to trade and how much you want to make. Okay, then you break that all down. Why? Because that's going to keep you focused positively. Because if you don't know what you want, you're just trading blindly, and you're just chasing an imaginary number that doesn't exist because you don't have it in your mind. You just want more. You want more and more and more. Guess what? Numbers, there's no end to them. They just keep going, 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 and you can never have all of them. So if you don't have this number in your mind, then you really don't have a goal. And if you don't have that, you're blindly trading. You're blindly trying to grow. All right. 2, learning how to recognize the skills you need to progress as a trader and then stay focused on the development of those skills instead of the money, which is merely a byproduct of those skills. Again, do not trade your P&L. We focus on skills and setups and the probability of a trade doing well, not money. Money is a byproduct. Money will come if the trade setup is good. We focus on the skills. So a lot of people join the class, and by the second lesson, they're like, oh, how do I do this? 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 And it's like each lesson is structured to build upon one another. If you cannot have patience, discipline to understand that each lesson is going to build on each other and all your answers, all your questions are going to be answered, and the skills are going to develop, and you're going to get better and better, and you're going to be successful if you do that, then the patience, the discipline is not there, and you're going to be unsuccessful. So focus on the skills, focus on establishing the skills and understanding the skills, and then the money will come. Guess what? Market's not going to end tomorrow. Market's not going to end next week. They're not going to close it down next year. The market's always going to be there. It's always going to provide. It's always going to have opportunity. Did it have opportunity a year ago? Yeah. Did it have opportunity yesterday? Yeah. Did it have opportunity today? Yeah. Did it have opportunity tomorrow? Yeah. It's always going to have opportunity. Okay. Does that mean you have to trade every day? Absolutely not. In reality, it gives you more confidence that you don't have to trade every day. Why? Because there's always opportunity. You just got to look for it. Do your homework, look for it. What I teach in this class is the saying is knowledge plus understanding plus study equals faith in yourself. I'm going to give you the knowledge. It is up to you to understand it by studying it. And if you do all those things, you're going to get faith in yourself. Okay? That faith in yourself is not going to come overnight. It's going to come with time, patience, discipline, and what? Study. Got to do that in order to be successful. You could make more money in trading than you would in a 4-year degree in college, a 2-year degree in college, a 6-year degree in college, 10-year degree in college, 15-year degree in college. But everybody wants to make that money in one day. Don't understand why. Doesn't work that way. So have patience, discipline, focus on the skills, and the money will become a byproduct of your skills. Okay, number 3, learning how to adapt yourself to respond to fundamental changes in market conditions more readily. Learning how to adapt yourself, okay, to fundamental changes of the markets. Why is that? Because the markets will respond to information immediately. Some people tell me, "Oh, well, this company has this news came out about this company yesterday, so this stock's gonna run." And it's like, no. If that news came out and you know it, then the market already knows it, and it's already done what it's gonna do. You could never know something that the market doesn't know. And if you do, it's insider trading, which, you know, you're probably not on that pay scale to have insider trading. But you got to adapt on the conditions, because sometimes the market is vicious. Okay. Number 4, identifying the amount of risk you're comfortable with, your risk comfort level, and then learn how to expand it in a way that is consistent with your ability to maintain an objective perspective of market activity. Identifying the amount of risk you're comfortable with. Okay. Now, does this say, hey, there's a universal comfort level for risk? No, it says identify the amount of risk you are comfortable with, not me, because my risk tolerance is different from your risk tolerance. I'm fine losing 5,000. I'm fine risking 10,000. I'm fine risking 30,000. Are you? You might not want to risk 2,000. You might not risk 500. That's up to you. Somebody else might want to risk 100,000. That's their risk tolerance. Okay, you need to identify what your risk comfort level is, because you trade with money that you are afraid to lose. Guess what? You're going to be emotionally trading, and you're going to lose it, or you're going to make bad decisions with it. You trade with money that you're comfortable with. Guess what? You're going to make rational decisions, because you don't have an emotional connection to it. You need to identify your risk tolerance. Everybody has a different tolerance. Okay, key thing right there. Number 5, learn how to execute your trades immediately upon your perception of opportunity. Okay, and that's going to come with building your instincts and behaviors, but definitely is you got to be fast. If you see something, it looks good, everything's lining up, and everything that I'm teaching you, it tells you, hey, this is good, get in it. You could always get out. You could always get back in. Okay? Don't ever feel like you're locked into something, because you're never locked into anything unless you get into something that's not liquid. And I always tell you, I always advise people, do not ever trade non-liquid stocks, because there's no point. Doesn't matter if it goes up 200%. If you can't get out of it, there's no point. Number 6, learning how to let the market tell you how much is enough instead of assessing the potential from your personal value system of how much is enough. Okay. So this goes a lot of ways, and it's very connected into your social upbringing. So the market's gonna, especially with options, which is what I focus on. Now, everything I teach you in this class, you could trade anything: futures, options, stocks, crypto, whatever you want. Anything that has a chart, you could trade it. But I focus on options because it provides my risk reward level is exceptional with the options, for me at least. So the market can take, your, especially with options, could take your $500 and turn it into, $10,000, something like that. Or it could take your $10,000 and turn it into $500. So you need to learn how to let the market tell you how much is enough. Now, the market could go up, and it could keep going up, keep going up, keep going up, and keep going up. And even as you say, no, this has already gone up too much, it could keep going up. Now, the market can also go down and keep going down and keep going down. And you could think, oh, this has gone down way too much, and it could keep going down. Do not let the market tell you, do not let your personal experiences tell you how much is enough, but let the market tell you when enough is enough. Okay. Number 7, learning how to structure your beliefs to control your perception of market movement. So this comes with time, because it's going to be instinctual when you're looking at charts and you're focusing on your stocks. You're going to learn how the market is moving. Now, in this course, and that's you're going to learn in lesson 2, I tell you to focus on, I would say, focus on top 5 stocks and don't look at any other stocks. But really, for this class, I'd really only want you to focus on 1 or 2, because you need to be a master of those stocks. Those 1 or 2 stocks, you master them, and it's going to teach you how the market works, how price action works, how the market moves, how that particular stock moves in general, because each stock is traded by an institution. Now, those institution or traders that trade that stock are human with behavioral patterns, and behavioral patterns will be recognized in those stocks, and they'll form behavioral patterns. And once you learn that and master that, you could go on to master other stocks. But learning that 1 or 2 stocks, mastering that and how it moves, how it adapts, is gonna teach you so much about trading. Whereas if you're trying to juggle 15 stocks and you're looking at this price, you're looking at this price, you're looking at this price action, and they're all different behavioral patterns, you're not going to learn what the behavioral patterns are. You're going to be jumping up and down to all these different ones. Okay, not a good way to learn. Number 8, learning how to achieve and maintain a state of objectivity, right? This is just clear-headedness, focus, focus, basically. You have your goals. Number 1, learning the dynamics of goal achievement, right? Because you can focus on what you want, not what you fear. Learning how to be a state of objectivity is you know what your goals are, you focus on them, you don't let anything get in the way. Okay. Number 9, learning how to recognize true intuitive information and then learning how to act on it consistently. Okay, and that comes in time too, because that's instinctual, right? True intuitive information. That is from your experience, intuitive information that you're going to be looking at from the market, and it's going to help you become more consistent. All right. Now, let's go into the next. Here we go. So unsuccessful traders. So unsuccessful traders, what do? They lack skills. So what are you in this course for? To establish those skills, right? So whatever job you have in life, doesn't matter what it is. If you are a gardener and you don't know how to work a lawnmower, guess what? When you get a job and somebody says, come over, and you come over and they say, can you mow my lawn? And you say, yeah. And then they give you their lawnmower, or you take your lawnmower or whatever it is, and you don't know how to use it. You don't know how to use it. You don't have the skills to use it, and you start mowing the lawns and you leave all these patches. You're scared. You're fearful, right? You're scared because you don't know how to use these things. You don't have the skills to do the work. No matter what job it is. You could you could work for Subway. Okay? And if you don't know what mustard and Dijon mustard, the difference between them and how they taste, and somebody says, I want mustard, and you give them Dijon mustard, that's those skills, no matter what it is, something small, whatever it is, whatever skill it is, if you don't have it, you're fearful, right? Because you don't want to be embarrassed. You don't want to feel inferior to others, right? That negligence. Now, fear diminishes the trader's ability to be objective, right? Clear-headed. Execute his trades or learn about the fundamental nature of the markets. Why? Because he's so focused on what he doesn't know, because he doesn't have the skill, so he can't be objective because he doesn't have the skills to be objective. He doesn't have the skills to execute his trades. He doesn't have the skills to even know what the market's doing because he just doesn't know. Now, I'm going to teach you all that. And number 2, limiting beliefs. Now, limiting beliefs are very, very important. Very important. Now, you say, what do limiting beliefs have to do anything about trading? Well, it has to do everything about trading. If you have limiting beliefs, guess what? You're not only limiting yourself, but you're setting yourself for failure, not only in trading, but in life. So, limiting beliefs. What are limiting beliefs? Well, limiting beliefs are basically beliefs that limit your potential. So, we were all raised in a society that says you have to go to school, get a good education, go to college, and get a good job, make money, save, buy a house, have family, save up your 401k, retire, and then go on vacation. But you couldn't make money unless you went to college, right? That's at least what I was always told. So when you go and you're, barely going into the job world, right? And you're looking at jobs, and when I was looking at jobs, I think I was getting paid, I don't know, minimum wage, and making, I don't know, 14,000 a year, or 17,000 a year, which is nothing, right? Like $200 a week, or $250 a week, something like that. But that was the environment that I grew up in, right? I grew up in that environment, and making that money, you learn to live on it, right? Then I got another job. I was making a little bit more. I thought it was amazing, making, say, 20,000 a year. Okay. And as I kept going up and gaining more skills in, the job, in the job market, I became little and little, and then I was making $40,000 a year after I got out of college. So I was like, man, I used to make 20,000 a year, and I thought that was good. Now I'm making $40,000 a year. Now I thought that was good, but I thought in order for me to make even more money, I have to go back to college, get more education, so I could get a better job. But then, in that point, it really doesn't matter. They all care about experience. All care about experience. And in order to get a 100K job or more, you have to have, say 5-year experience, or you have to have a very high education and experience, which would be, a lot of pro bono work, or depending on what your field is, right? So my point is, on all this, you have to go through all of these steps, right, in order to make, say, 100,000 a year, right? Entry, or mid level. Now, or even 50,000 a year. 50,000 a year was like the medium average, right? At a point, I don't know if it's the same medium average. I think maybe 70,000 medium average now, but I remember it was 50,000. So they said American household income would have 50,000, husband and wife. Okay, so roughly together 100,000. So now, long story, to get to the punchline. So when you have this social upbringing of thinking that $50,000 a year is what the average American brings home, at that point in time, again, like I said, I don't know about it. It might be 70 now, but I'm gonna go with 50 because that's what it was when I was going through this. Now, if 50,000 a year was the average income for a college degree, right? I made $50,000 in a week. And because I had these limiting beliefs that I didn't deserve that, because people worked a whole year to make $50,000, and I made this in a week in trading, I ended up unconsciously giving it all back, because I felt that it belonged to me. I didn't work hard enough. I didn't deserve it, because people work a year for this money, and I didn't deserve it because I didn't work as hard as they did. So I gave it all back unconsciously. Now, initially, I was happy, everything was good. Unconsciously, though, I felt guilty. Why? Because, like I said earlier, your brain is smarter than you. Your brain knows the true you. So if you have these limiting beliefs, and everybody always tells me, no, I don't have those limiting beliefs. If I make 50 grand, I'm not going to give it back. Well, guess what? You will, if you do not change your limiting beliefs. You could make 500,000, and if you have limiting beliefs, you're going to give it all back, because subconsciously you would rather give that money back than have a deeper feeling of guilt. And it's true. You could ask, a lot of people that have done it. I know a lot of people have done it. I've known people who made 200,000 in a day, and over the next course of 3 months give it all back and some. I actually just read something today about somebody who made $900,000 in a month, and over the next the next 8 months, they gave it all back. They gave it all back. Now, it's a lot of money to give back. It's a lot of money to make as well. Now, it's all about limiting beliefs. If you do have these limiting beliefs, it's not that you're going to give them back on purpose. You're going to give them back because your subconscious mind is going to give it back because of your guilt. Okay? So, remember that. You have limiting beliefs, and we all do. Okay? We need to stop that. You need to get out of that. Okay? You're going to work hard in this class. You're going to work very hard. And you're going to work even harder after this class, because you're going to go and find your setups. You're going to do your homework, and then you're going to do your trading. Now, when you do that, you're going to get paid. Okay? You're going to deserve that money. Why? Because you worked hard for it. Now, what they don't tell you is trading is a job. You got to treat it like a business. Okay? If you don't, you're going to get hurt, or you're going to be unsuccessful. You have to believe that you deserve this when you get it. If you don't believe that you deserve it, you're not gonna keep it. Whether you consciously know that or not, you're not. Okay? Because your subconscious mind is gonna take control no matter what you say to yourself. If you have these limiting beliefs, it's gonna take over, and you're gonna give it back slowly but surely. All right, so we're going to focus on limiting beliefs at the second half of this class. We're going to focus on goals, limiting beliefs as well. We're going to try to remove those and add goals. Okay. Now, lack of self-discipline. So 3 things unsuccessful traders do not have: skills, limiting beliefs, lack of discipline. Okay. Now, self-discipline. This is a you situation. I cannot give you self-discipline. That is why it's called self-discipline. Okay, you have to establish your own self-discipline. Patience and self-discipline are in the same categories. You need to establish both of these. All right, you need to trust yourself. You need to trust what you're going to put your money into. Okay, you are a general. I'm actually creating you into a general. Your troops are your money. You have to learn how to go into battle in order to grow your army and bring in more troops. Capture whatever troops you have to, and bring them in and build them. Okay? You need to have self-discipline, and we'll go more into that in our second half, but it really is truly, you need to focus on self-discipline yourself. You need to learn how to not trade. Okay, that is the number one thing. You need to learn how to not trade. Most of you would probably do well if you just knew how to not trade. Most people think they have to be in the market all the time. In reality, that is not the case. The market's not always good to be in. Sometimes it's great to be in, and sometimes it's horrible to be in. You need to learn when to not be in the market, and to have the discipline and patience to wait to where it's good to be in the market. Okay? Because the number one thing that's most important is not to make money. Another number one thing that is important in trading is to protect your money. So protect your troops, because if you diminish your troops and you end up losing your troops, guess what? You're not going to be able in the market no more. Okay, if you're patient and you wait and you hold your troops until there's a market is doing well, or market's easy, or not easy, but the setups are good, then you're going to do very well. Patience, discipline is going to provide you a lot. All right. And what did I always say? There's opportunities in the market all the time. Today, tomorrow, next year, next week, market's not going anywhere. It always provides. Okay. All right. Chapter 3, the market's always right. So the market is never wrong in what it does. It just is. Therefore, you as an individual trader interacting with the market, first as an observer to perceive opportunity, then a participant executing a trade, contributing to the overall market behavior, have to confront an environment where only you can be wrong. It's never the other way around. As a trader, you have to decide what is more important, being right or making money, because the two are not always compatible or consistent with one another. Can't be always right. Okay, got to understand that. Okay, the market's never wrong. It's doing what it does. You are the only one that's wrong, because you're sitting there looking at it, and then you say, oh, this is a good time to get in, and you get in and you lose money. Well, guess what? You were wrong. It wasn't a good time to get in. Okay, you get in, or you're looking at the market, you get in, you say it's a good time to make money, and you do make money. All right, you're right. But guess what? You're not always going to be right. Okay, the market's going to do what it does, no matter if you're in it or not. So remember that. You can't have both ways. You can't be always right, and you can't be in the market all the time. Because if you think you're always right and you get in the market all the time, the market's going to prove you wrong a couple times. All right. There's unlimited potential for profit and loss. So from a psychological perspective, this characteristic will allow you to indulge yourself in an illusion that each trade has a potential to fulfill your wildest dreams of financial independence based on the consistency of market participants, ratio between buyers and sellers, and their potential to act as a force great enough to move prices in your direction. The possibility of having your dreams fulfilled may not even remotely exist. However, if you believe it does, then you will have the tendency to gather only the kind of market information that will confirm or reinforce your beliefs, all the while denying vital information that may be telling you the best opportunity is the opposite direction. Okay? So everybody thinks that they're going to get rich in the market. That's 100%. People don't take a trade thinking they're going to lose. Never. Nobody takes a trade thinking they're going to lose. They always think they're going to have their wildest dreams accomplished. You know, basically, not everybody, but a lot of people. Now, does this, however, happen? Can it happen? Sure, it can happen. Is it very high probability it's going to happen? Not at all. Okay. So, and even if it does happen to some, what happens with their limiting beliefs? Their potential to give that money back is very high. Okay. So, patience, discipline, okay, is what you need here. All right. From a psychological perspective, the possibility for unlimited profits, happiness, power, and so on, whatever is meant to you when you imagine making all the money you ever wanted to make, can be extremely dangerous. The possibility may in fact exist, but how realistic is it in any given trade is another matter. Okay. Again, kind of solidifying what we just talked about. Taking a trade and making money is a great feeling. But some people think that if I just put all my money or a high amount of money into this, I could be rich, or I could buy this, or I could have this. It's very dangerous, because guess what could happen also? You could lose all that money. And then you're not getting all these things, you're not being rich, you're being depressed. And you're creating negative feelings towards the market, which is going to prevent you from being more successful down the line. So, what is your goal? What is your goal? What do you want? Because if you don't have a goal, you don't know what you want, guess what? You're going to imagine making all the money you ever wanted to make. And guess what? You don't even have a number in your head of all the money that you want to make. So it's just a facade of all these riches, right? You're going to turn into this king of Norway or whatever it is, and you're going to have all this money. No, it doesn't happen. Okay. You need to be realistic. If you're not realistic, guess what? You're going to end up in a vicious circle of depression and emotional decisions. All right, let's get on here. Only trade with money you can afford to lose, meaning money that has little or no value in your life. Okay, now why is that? Why? Because you get emotional, very emotional, when you trade with money you cannot lose. You trade with your rent money, you trade with your car payment, you trade with your mortgage payment, you trade with your kids' education, your you do risky trades with your 401k, whatever it is. You're going to be emotionally glued to that money, because that money is necessary for your necessities in life. So you cannot lose it, or else your necessities in life are not going to be paid for. So you make irrational decisions. You take losses quick, or you don't take losses quick and you lose even more, and you just pray that it comes back. Do not do that with that, because you switch from actually looking for setups and looking how these setups are going to work, and then you go to, I can't lose this money. You're just focusing on the money. You're just looking at your bank account going down and you want it to stop. You're having anxiety. You're getting depressed. You're like, oh my God, life is over. The market hates me. This is doing this to me on purpose. All this stuff. When in fact, the market doesn't care. Market doesn't care. You know, your rent money is nothing to the market. It's nothing. Okay. Whatever it is, it's nothing to the market. Market doesn't care. Market's just going to do what it does. Don't trade with money you afford to lose. That's why you need to understand your risk tolerance. All right. In the market environment, reasons are irrelevant. So the reasons traders would give for their actions are irrelevant. Most traders don't know why they did when they did it, because most traders don't plan their trades, thus eliminating any connection between themselves and the decisions they made on their trades. Most traders act spontaneously and impulsively and then ascribe to rationale for their behavior after the fact. Most of these after the fact reasons are just justifications for what traders did or excuses for what traders didn't do. Okay. So trust yourself. Trust yourself. Trust the skills I'm going to teach you. Don't trust forums. Don't trust all these other, things where people post all these things that, they make all this money, because a majority of the times they don't even know why they made this money, right? They just said, oh, yeah, this stock's going to go up because, Motley Fool said it's going to go up. Oh, I made some money. You should follow these recommendations. Like, people don't know why they even make the trades. They just spontaneously do it or impulsively do it. There's no real rationale. Okay. So trust yourself. Don't trust other people. Because guess what? At the end of the day, when you're losing money, you trusted them they're not going to give you that money back. You have to trust yourself. It's your money. Okay, you're in control of that. Nobody else. You're the one that puts buy and sell. That's it. Nobody does it for you. Okay, you could look at other people's work and then go and do your own work, see if that looks good and if there's an opportunity there, but don't ever go just, I'm going to do this blindly, spontaneously, because guess what? You're throwing in your troops in battle blindly. You don't want to do that. Okay, don't trust most traders because they don't know what they're doing. Okay, so why do we trade? We trade off of needs and wants. Okay, now greed comes into needs and wants. Why? Because we always want more and we think we need more when in reality we don't. But greed is founded in the belief in scarcity and insecurity. Both generate fear. Now I'm defining greed as a belief that there will never be enough available to fill oneself, in combination with the belief that one always needs to feel secure or satisfied. The perception that these conditions exist either internally or externally will generate a fear that will compel one to act or not act, depending on who controls the supply. The behavior someone displays will be consistent with what they believe that they must do to satisfy a deficiency. If two or more people have that same fears, they would typically compete among one another for the existing supply. So basically, this is saying that people get greedy because they feel like there's not enough. They fear like there's not going to be enough to go around, right? The market's going to close next week. The market's not going to provide for me next week or next month or next year. I have to get all of it now. It's fearful that if I don't get everything now, I'm not going to get it later, which is a fallacy. It doesn't work that way. The market's always going to provide. You have to understand that and not fall into this idea of greed. Because you get greedy, guess what? You're going to get slaughtered. And then when you get slaughtered, what happens? You get sad and depressed. You don't want that. All right. So since the goal of a trader is to satisfy a need to accumulate wealth, we can assume that people will not consciously enter a trade believing they will lose or fail at satisfying their needs, because all traders have basically the same goal, to win. We can then state that no two traders enter into a trade unless they have opposing beliefs about the future value of whatever is being traded. Keep in mind that the current price of anything in the market is what a reflection of what is someone willing to pay and what someone is willing to sell for in that moment. So although there must be an agreement between two parties for the trade to exist, blah, 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 basically, nobody enters a trade thinking they're going to lose. Okay. And the market, the price of a stock is what somebody's willing to buy it for and what somebody's willing to sell it for. So obviously, whatever the price is, one person thinks that's a good buy, and one person thinks, hey, that's a good sell. Okay. Nobody goes into it thinking that the same, right? They're not both saying it's both a good buy, right? One saying it's a buy, one saying it's a sell. So guess what? Sometimes you're going to be wrong. Sometimes the other one's going to be wrong. Okay. So that's why you need to understand that you cannot always be right. All right. You create your experience of the market. This is very important because people always think that the market's out to get them when in reality, you're the one creating the idea that the market's out to get you. Okay, you are either able to perceive any given equilibrium as an opportunity to execute a trade, or you can agonize over what you believe is a missed opportunity from the last price change. Or you can refrain from taking the trade at the current price, even though you perceive it as an opportunity, because you fear the market might make you wrong. The market does not create the ways in which you perceive it, It merely reflects what's going on inside of you at any given moment. So again, we already talked about how the market is creating, opportunity. It's doing what it does. And if you see opportunity and you see that you want to participate in this opportunity, then you're going to jump in. Okay. You're going to make the decision to participate with the market. Now, the market's not doing any of this for you. Okay. The market's not going to make you wrong. The market's not going to do this, that. It's going to do what it does. Okay. Like I said, sometimes it's choppy, sometimes it's flowing, sometimes it's going well. It's up to you to have that patience, that discipline to actually participate in those moments of times when the market's doing well, and stay away from those times when the market's being choppy, being in a relatively difficult time, because it's going to be sporadic. Okay. You can't change what the market's doing. You can only change yourself in a way that allows you to perceive what it may do next with increased clarity and objectivity. As a trader, you want to know what's going on or what's going to happen next, yet you can only begin to know what could happen next if you refuse to open yourself up mentally in ways that allow you to perceive the most likely possibilities. All right. And we're going to go over all that, in our next lessons on how to do our top-down analysis and how to do our analysis. Now, in our analysis that we will be doing and learning, we always want to perceive opportunity by our high probability opportunities, and we're going to learn how to do those in the lessons. And those lessons will come, and you will learn that, but in time. All right. Self-acceptance. The market will quite naturally make you face what is inside of you on a moment-to-moment basis. What is inside of you could be confidence or fear, a perception of opportunity or loss, restraint or uncontrollable greed, objectivity or illusion. The market just reflects these mental conditions. They do not create them. So whatever's coming out is coming out because you're making them come out. The market's not making them come out. Okay. You could be very confident or you could be very fearful. Those are your emotions. If you're very fearful, maybe you need to step back and take a step back and enter in later when you feel a lot more confident. Okay. If you're thinking, oh, if I enter now, I'm just going to lose money. Guess what? Maybe you should take a step back, not enter, okay, and feel that you should enter when you are more confident that you're not going to lose money. Okay. Now, if you're entering in, you think that, hey, you can't get anything wrong and you have this uncontrollable greed, well, then you're going to get hurt. So whatever you're going through, understand at that whatever point in time you're going through it, you're creating these things. Nobody else. The market's just doing what it does. The mental conditions that you have, that you're feeling, the emotions that you're feeling, you're creating them because of your fear, because of your greed, because of what you're going through internally yourself. Okay. All right. And I think that might be it. Let me double check one time. Okay, beliefs. Now, beliefs, just going back to our limiting beliefs, we want to get rid of the limiting beliefs, right? Beliefs are very important in everything. Beliefs create definitions, make distinctions, and shape our perception of environmental information by programming our senses to hear, see, and select information that corresponds with what we believe. All right, those are very important, right? Beliefs define the parameters in which we perceive environmental information. Okay, Many of our responses to environmental conditions are automatic because our beliefs make the response seem self-evident. Now, this goes back to what I said about instincts and our behavioral behaviors. Our belief system, our social upbringings, right? Our cultural upbringings create beliefs. Our beliefs are a certain way from whatever we've been learned upon, we've been raised upon. Now, as we trade and trade and trade, our beliefs are gonna change, right? Our instincts are gonna change. Our belief system is gonna change. We cannot have the same social beliefs as we do trading beliefs. It just doesn't work the same. Now, our ideals, our belief systems, we need to take control of them, okay? And how do we do that? Well, we're going to learn that in our second part of our class. All right. But I believe, I think we end on beliefs. Yep. That is good. All right. So we're going to end right there on that. And we're going to go into our second half of our class. But before we get into our second half of our class, I wanted to open it up real quick to anybody who wanted to share any experience or any reflection or any aha moment that they had in reading this book, and really had any self-reflection and actually could relate to what the author was speaking, or they felt like the author was speaking to them when they were reading a certain piece of the text. Anybody want to share?
Steve, I'll go.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay, or?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay. One of the things I think when the author was talking about, like, or you also pointed out earlier, how you sort of how your mental state wants you to move the market in your favor, in your position, right? And your like ego sort of like falls into that trap also. So I've actually lost money thinking that like the market's gonna move in my direction. I've actually done a lot of that. So I thought that kind of highlighted what I was kind of focusing on some of my trades. So
Okay. Okay. And how do you feel that you've grown from that? Have you learned that lesson, or do you keep repeating that lesson?
I am doing a much better job at it. Is what I've been doing is I, even once I sense that it's not going to go anywhere, I just cut my losses and just get out of that trade. Like I
Okay.
don't wait I don't wait until the end. So I guess like that's a slight improvement.
Right. Okay. So that's growth. That's growth right there. That's growth. One thing about anything in life, if you don't grow from your situation or the lessons that you're getting, you're gonna have to keep repeating those lessons until you learn the lesson that you need to learn. So you going away from that's growing. So that's good. Thanks for sharing. Anybody else want to share any aha
Yeah.
moments? Or go ahead.
Hey, sorry, hold on, my dogs. So I joined Discord 3 weeks ago. I think it was May 18th was my first trade with you guys. And so you know, Steve, I'm Tran on Discord. So I made a crap load of money and I feel like I didn't deserve it. It was kind of like, holy cow, what the heck's going on? Like I don't deserve it. And so with the weeks, last week and this week, I'm like, wait a minute. I do deserve it. You know, it's just a complete confidence change, and I completely agree with the author when he says, limiting beliefs. So that was my aha moment, and once I got over that, I was did 17K last week, did 4K today. So it's just been uphill since then.
Okay, but just because you're experiencing this point in time where it seems that you're just growing and growing and growing, that's where the author also says, do not get into this uncontrollable greed sense where, you know, you're saying, oh, I didn't deserve all this money at 17K, and now you're double that, and you're like, okay, now I deserve it. No, I deserve even more now, right? So you need to
Yeah.
adjust and understand what your risk tolerance is, because I'm sure whatever you were trading with back at 17,000
Different.
isn't what you're trading with right now at 34,000. So you
No,
need to get that risk tolerance, because just as fast as that could come, it could also
go.
go the opposite way. And
Yeah.
then that's when revenge trading kicks in, because say you know grow it to 36,000, right? And then, or even 40,000, and then you go back to 34,000. Well, guess what? Even though you were extremely happy at 34,000, you're going to think in your mind, hey, I had 40,000, let me just get back to 40,000 and we'll be okay again. And then you're going to go back to 28,000, and that because you're not looking at the potential, right? You're not looking at what the market is offering. What the focus on is the 40,000. And then if you go down, then the focus is on, okay, let me just get back to 34,000. Okay. And that's the little cycle that we go through as human beings. And I've been through this cycle several times in my life, and that's how I understand that. So even though, you know, doing well, you always gotta reduce your risk in the market as well, because I used to trade with um 10,000, then I started trading with 20,000, then 50,000. Now I was trading with 500,000. Then I had to realize that the less money I trade with, the better I do, because the more money that I have in the market, the more money I want to put in the market, you know. So if I have 20 grand and I'm trading with that, that's fine. I could do that. 20, 25, 30,000, I could do that. If I have over that, if I have over 30,000, over 40,000, 50,000, I just me as myself, even if I don't trade all that, but if I'm down, I'll put that money in, and I'm gonna risk that money. Now I know it's better for me to have only a certain amount of money in, so like 25,000, and trade that, and if it goes over 30,000, I take out it back to 25,000, or whatever it is. If it goes to 35,000, I take out to 26,000, whatever it is. Take out that money so that I could prevent uh, my humanistic flaws that I have from my own individual personality, to prevent me from losing, you know. So we all have these vices, and we just need to identify what they are and what they are gonna make hurdles in our trading career. And then we have to put kind of little insurance policies to prevent those hurdles from taking us to where we don't want to go. That makes sense.
Yes.
All right. But yeah, great. I mean, hey, everybody likes money, so that's good. Um, Thanks for sharing. Appreciate that. Anybody else wanna share?
I could share.
Go ahead.
So, um, going through the book, um, I haven't been trading that long. I just started in August, September, small capital. But the book made me aware of all my flaws. So everything that they point out as a trader shouldn't be doing, I kept, as I read through the book, I always, it's like, yep, that's me. Yep, I did that. And yep, that's me. Yep. It seems like the book was just talking to me. So every mistake that they point out on the book, I definitely have made it since August or September. So but going through it, going through it, you know, it, I'm realized that I'm fortunate to have taken your class at a point and decided, okay, I need to take something. So if I'm gonna take this and take it seriously, but as I was going through the book, I was like, wow, okay, that applies to me. It definitely um, made me aware of all my faults. I had no goal. I made me realize I was basically just gambling with, I just gambling. So yeah, all the emotions that it talks about in there, I'm like, okay. It basically made me accept all these things that I never really looked about, into, and it made you do like a self-reflection of why am I in it, all that stuff. I was like, okay. So that's what I was getting. I haven't finished the book yet, but in the several chapters that I've read through, that's what I've gotten from the book. So it definitely gave me some focus and some goals and certain things to work on um, internally in order to trade successfully.
Right. That's good. That's really good. That's realization. That's admitting, what the things that you need to work on, and putting them out in front of you and saying these are the things that I need to improve, and that's how you grow. And congratulations on all those realizations. That's important. Very important, because we need to find our foundation before we could actually develop true skills to trade. Because if we don't have our psychological foundation, then we're always going to go through those things that you said you were going through, right? Just like you said, everything that you were reading in the book, you're like, that's me, that's me, that's me, that's humans, right? We're human beings, and we have these emotions, we have these psychological flaws, not because the market's set up to to um, to go against us, just because the market and our social upbringings are completely different. Okay, they're not the same. Things that we have been raised in are social bringings, right? So say you were raised in a social bringings where everything went your way. Well, with the market, it's not going to go that way. Everything's not going to go your way, and you're going to have a disconnect, right? Or in the social upbringings of your life, your parents probably always took care of you, made sure that you ate, you were healthy, everything was okay. You had that security. Well, in the market, there's not that security, right? So we have this completely different environment that we are actually entering in now, that we have to establish a completely different base to what this is now, right? So in developing this base, we need to have different attributes in order to be successful before we even learn anything technical. But yeah, thanks for sharing. Appreciate that.
So one thing that stuck out as far as going through the book, it allowed me to relate into something that I do often, which is golf. And in golf, I always had to learn how to not live on the past, what happened on the previous hole, and focus on the next hole. And so I realized that as I was reading through this book, I was like, okay, I've done this before, but I just couldn't relate to anything until I was going through the book. And I was like, okay, it's like golf. I gotta forget what just happened and just move on to the next hole.
Okay, that's a first, but yeah, I guess so. I mean, you always want to get better and better, but yeah, I could understand that. All right, thanks for sharing. Anybody else wanna chime in?
Yeah, Stephen, with the one thing that stood out for me was the difference between the mental and physical environments. And I realized that I always set myself up for failure in the mental environment because if something was on the decline and I was losing, I always told myself, no, it's going to come back. Don't sell. You only lose when you sell, so it'll come back. But then on the same side, when things were going up, I never sold and took profits because I was like, no, my greed kicked in, and it's like, it's going to keep going up. It's going to keep going up. And next thing I know, it stopped going up and went back down. So I realized I was always setting myself up for failure, and the mental, and part of it is greed.
Right. Yeah, and we all go through that. You know, we're all human beings. We all want more. We all wanna feel secure and safe. But we need to realize that, you know, we don't need to be secure and safe for the rest of our lives right now, right? We could be consistent in slowly growing that, and not even, you know, with options, you could actually grow it a lot, you know, just like Tran said that, you know, she made, you know, all this money within a couple weeks. Well, in reality, you know, you made, you made this 5,000 into now, 34,000. Well, you could actually take, the next couple months off and be completely fine. You could probably take the whole year off, right? So that's the thing about this is a lot of people don't understand that people used to be happy with 5% a year. You know, they were like, oh, if I could get just 5% a year, that's good growth in my portfolio. And now with options, people are getting extremely high percentage rates, right? Like what's that? 500%, something like that. 500%, right? People would go crazy for 500% in a year, right? So we have to step back and acknowledge that and realize, hey, the returns that I'm getting, I need to actually realize, what are these returns? Are they like returns that everybody else is getting? Because even if you got 30% in a year, you would be doing well, right? And that's, generally your whole portfolio, and it depends on how much you're trading of your portfolio. But if you have a goal to make a certain percentage, it is more likely that you're going to grow from a smaller percentage goal than a higher percentage goal. Like, for instance, everybody wants to get 100% of return, right? Especially in options or more. But in reality, you get more of a return if you focus on, say, 25 to 30%, because you're going to get those more consistently and you're going to compound those better. So you need to focus on what you actually could do, right? Get away from the greed and go to the more rational part and be like, I'm going to focus on getting, if you get 30% returns, you have 90% return, right? Those 30% returns are going to come more often than that 100% return. And it's going to be less risky than that 100% return. So you're getting less risk, more opportunity, and a pretty much equal percentage rate and less risk, right? So we have to remember that, and we have to keep that on the top of our head, not in the back of our head, okay? So, like, for instance, what is your goal, right? That's the first thing I touched on this book. What is your goal? What is your goal in establishing what you want to make this year, right? If your goal, if you have $10,000, right? You started this year with $10,000 and your goal was $40,000 and you hit that goal already, and it's only been the 6th month. So now what? Okay, you make a new goal, but you risk less money. You take out, say, half of that or a little bit more, and then you have your goal. Because why? Because you're gonna make sure that some of that goal that you already hit is already safe and away from the market, because you know that the market can always, anything can happen in the market, right? And that prevents you from being greedy, because if your goal was 40,000, you hit that 40,000, right? You tripled your investment from 10,000, and now it's 40,000. And now you're saying, oh, well, I hit 40,000 in 6 months. I'm gonna hit 100,000 by the end of the year. Well, guess what? The market at the end of the year might not be as it was in the beginning of the year. So that 40,000 might turn back to 10,000 at the end of the year if it changes, if the market environment changes. And that's why you need to learn how to adapt with the market environment. Also know you as a human being and understand your risk tolerance, because just because money comes fast doesn't mean it's going to continue to come fast. It might leave fast, and it might not come as fast as it was coming. So that has to check that greed aspect. But yeah, man, thanks for sharing. Anybody else wanna chime in before I get into the second half of the class?
Yes. Thanks for sharing this book. It's a really self-reflecting book, and it's not just helpful in trading, it's helpful in personal life as well. Thanks for sharing.
Okay, yeah, no, definitely. And the second half of the class is also going to help you in personal life as well. 100,000%. Awesome, thanks. Anybody else want to chime in? Last one before I go into the second half.
Steve, I have a question. I don't know if this is the best time, but it was when you just touched on, if we could just take a 30% several times. When I first started, like my very first trade with you guys was like a 500%er, and I was like, wow. And then, I got greedy, like we were talking about, and lost some. So then I started trying to do that. I was like, well, I'm just going to take everything at 30 to 50%. But then you see everybody getting this 600% and 1,000%, and you're like, man, maybe I need to do that. How do you decide?
What are your goals?
Yeah, I didn't make those.
Right? It doesn't matter what other people are doing, right? It really doesn't, because even if they're getting 5,000% for this portion of time, you have to understand that they're developing a behavior that is going to be hard for them to get away from, because if they're going to continue to go for those 5,000 or 1,000%, guess what? Those only happen on the good times of the market, and the good times of the market are not all the time. So when it's not that time and they have good returns and they don't get out, trust me, I've had 5, 10,000, 10,000 percenters. And guess what? If you don't take them when you need to take them, they go down faster than they go up. So
Yeah.
so if you're there having a 500%, you're like, oh, I'm gonna get another 1,000%, and you have 500%. What else do you want, right? But you're waiting for that 1,000%. Guess what? One little dip or one little drop or one little anything, that's gonna go all the way back down to pay maybe like 20%, and then you're just SOL. So they're creating a behavior. That's not the behavior you want. What is the behavior you want? What is the goals that you want? Because once you establish what your goal is, it doesn't matter about the percentage return that everybody else is getting. All it matters is you're going and growing towards your goal, because then once you achieve that goal, you're going to have an actualization and feel better and have more confidence. And then you're going to have a higher goal. And as you build that consistency, you're going to get better and better and better. And then you're going to be like in this nice stock graph that's continually rising, where others will have these big spikes and then big drops and then big spikes, big drops, but not real consistency, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So you need to define what you want, right? Of course, everybody wants 500,000 percenters, but guess what? Those don't come as often. And if you're always chasing those, you're going to end up using all your capital to the bone chasing those winners. And when times get rough, you're going to probably deplete your troops faster than you could get them. And I've seen several people go through that motion, and it's fun when you're doing it, but it's not fun when you're experiencing the hard part. So
Yep.
so just understand that. All right, let's get into our second half of the class here. Go. Price action patterns. So I wrote this book. Disclaimer, please do not distribute any of this content to anybody else. This workbook I have created myself. I am going to provide this workbook to you right after the class, and you're going to have it a PDF. Please do not share with anybody. This is my property, and have respect. Thank you for that. So first thing we're going to go over, lesson number 1 is mindset. So we've already touched on a little bit of what mindset is and why it's important and why we're establishing a foundation in it. We have to understand from a psychological point, there's nothing really to do with charting or trading in general, but it has to do with charting and trading your psychological mind. Identifying your psychological mind and why we do what we do. Why we do what we do, why we behave the way we do, and why we have the reactions that we have and actions that we have. Okay, so your mind is a garden, your thoughts are seeds. You can grow flowers or you could grow weeds. Now, I love this quote because it's very true. When you're born, when you're a child, your mind is blank. You don't have any beliefs, you don't have any you just have your fight or flight system, right? And that's more of a reactionary response, right? It's not based on beliefs. It's based on survival. Now, when you start, actually in the world and in your family and you growing, you start to develop ideas, beliefs. And these aren't ones that we decide, right? They're given to us by our family, our parents, our social upbringings, whatever the belief systems were there, that's going to be our belief systems that we generate. Now, if your family always told you that, we're factory workers, you're going to be a factory worker too, once you get of age, you're going to be a factory worker, we're going to get you in a job in a factory worker and you're going to do this, maybe they're going to plant this seed that you're a factory worker, and that's what you're just going to do. Okay, if your family has an idea of you're going to do a certain thing or whatever it is, they're planting the seed, and it's up to you to accept that seed or not. you know, just like somebody watches a movie and sees a lawyer and says, you know, I want to be a lawyer. They plant that seed in their head, and as they grow up, they, you know, go to school, they go become a lawyer, and then they become a lawyer. Then they plant that seed. When I was 17, I wanted to be a trader. At 17, I planted that seed, and it grew and grew and grew. Although I went other directions at the time because my family didn't want me to be a trader. They didn't want me to do this. They didn't know what a trader was. Nobody really knew what a trader was. I've always loved stocks because I had a mentor who was a trader at 17. And it was very enlightening to me because he planted a seed in my mind that I accepted. Now, whether he did this intentionally or not, I took that and formed it as a seed. Now, the seed that he gave me was because my family always struggled. My family always struggled, and he, you know, I was in a ROP program, and he took all of us into his little office and a little whiteboard, and he wrote down on the whiteboard, look at investing is very simple. Back at that time, bonds were giving 5%, and he's like, if you know, get a job, whether it's a janitor or whatever, if you're making $50,000 a year and you just put $500 away a month at a 5% growth a year, at the end of you start at 18, and by the time you're 30, that 5% compound interest growth, you're going to become a millionaire just by putting $500 away a month. Now, I thought that was so simple and so amazing. And then he said, when you were 30, that $500 a month will grow to $1 million, and then you could live on that 5% taken out every single year as distributions and never have to work it in your life again. And I thought it was so simple and didn't understand why nobody didn't know this. My mom didn't know this, obviously, because we were struggling. My aunt, my uncles, my whole family, everyone I knew, all my friends' family, nobody knew this. And it planted a seed in my mind, a seed of actually enlightening people to invest, right? Because so many people were struggling that I knew. So the seed grew in my mind, and it grew. And even though I went different directions, I always watered this seed and always learned about trading. Always, 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 for years and years and years. But the importance of the seeds are very important because whatever seeds you plant in your mind, they're going to grow. Now, these seeds can be very different. These seeds can be positive seeds, like you are an amazing person, that you're always gonna be successful, and no matter what you do, just because you're that type of person, and that seed could grow and flourish, and you could always believe that. Or it could be a seed that says you're not good enough, right? And I call these weeds, right? Or the quote calls it weeds, right? You're not good enough. No matter what you do, you're always going to fail. Those are going to be weeds. And all those weeds are going to end up eating any positivity or any positive flowers that are going to try to grow in your mind. Okay. So if you were always told that you weren't good enough, you're not going to amount to anything, you're worthless, or whatever all these things are, you don't have to accept those seeds or those weeds. But if you do, and sometimes it's hard not to, because you just feel that way, at whatever point in life that you were growing, whatever point in life that you're experiencing these situations, you need to go back and realize, do you have these weeds in your mind? And if you do, you need to pull them out, and you need to not accept them anymore. You need to take them out, and they're not your thoughts. They really aren't. They're somebody else's thoughts who weren't happy with themselves, and they were just wanting misery together, miseryless company. Because somebody who was happy, or who is happy with their life, somebody who's happy with their life, who is very accomplished, who is successful, or who is very happy in their family, their situations, somebody who is like that is not going to tell somebody that they're not good enough. They're not going to tell that somebody that they're not never going to amount to anything. They're not going to tell that somebody that they're a failure. No, because they don't have those type of weeds in their head. They only have seeds of you could do anything. Okay, and you need to remove any of these type of weeds that you have in your mind, and you need to replace them with seeds of positivity. Okay, so mindset. So first off, we need to read and deeply understand the Disciplined Trader textbook assigned with this course, which we've already assigned that. So certain things we need to understand before we can even start to trade. Many people do not realize, or want to realize actually, that trading starts with their mental structure and their behaviors growing up. We are conditioned to act, respond, and feel certain ways in certain situations. These actions and feelings cause reactions in our trading. The love we receive, the pain we receive, the insecurities we have, the ego we have, all transfer into the market and are revealed by the market. This is where revenge trading comes from. Taking on trades that don't follow your rules, taking a trade just to be in the market, buying and selling without using proper risk management, taking on risky trades to make your account whole again after a large loss. We need to understand ourselves and our behaviors before we can really establish a proper trading methodology and success. A trader needs to understand that his mind or her mind is a garden and can be compared to a garden, and anything can grow and develop. But it's up to them to cultivate or neglect the thoughts. But whatever's in there, it will come forth. There are 5 things that we need to understand about our behaviors and our environment. Number 1, our thoughts, our energy, and those thoughts become ideas. Okay. Number 2 is emotion. Those ideas that we have causes emotions. So we have a thought, then this idea comes from that thought, and then we get an emotional reaction from these ideas, right? Or these thoughts. Number 3, actions. Those emotions cause actions, right? Those ideas that we have cause emotions that cause actions. We take actions on those, whether that is a cry action or an actual physical action, okay, or feeling of sadness or happiness, whatever it is. Number 4, results. Those actions cause results, okay? Those results turn into number 5, which is reactions. Those results cause reactions to those results. So number 1 thing that you really have to understand in life and in trading and in being a human in general is your attitude is always yours. It's completely 100% yours. Nobody else can give you your attitude. Your attitude is yours. No matter what anybody says to you, you're always in complete control. So why do I say that? Well, because the thoughts you have create the ideas you have, that create the emotions you have, that create the actions you have, that create the results and reactions you have. They are solely up to you. If you can gain hold of your thoughts, you can gain hold of your emotions, you can gain hold of your actions and reactions. As traders, we don't want to be emotional. We want to be goal achievers. Now, goal achievers make their own decisions. We can be influenced by suggestions, or actions from others and outside events, but you alone have the final say or decision to make it affect you. Do not allow or permit anyone else to make a decision for you. Do not allow anyone else to plant weeds in your mind's garden. And when you discover you have weeds in your mind's garden, you must remove it and tend to your garden. Now, if somebody very close to you is somebody that tries to put weeds in your mind's garden, then you need to sit down with this person and have a talk with them and have them understand that you are not going to allow them to put these weeds in your mind's garden anymore. And that is very serious note that you need to do if you want to be successful in trading and in life, because the most closest people to us are the ones that are going to be putting the weeds in our mind's garden. The people that we care most about are the ones that are going to be putting the weeds in our mind's garden, and we cannot accept that. Why? Because we are taking control of our life, not only in a trading decision, but in our future decision. The people that we want to be. We cannot become who we want to be if we have all these other things preventing us from just getting over these weeds that we have now. Okay? So how do we do this? Well, we have to understand ourselves and our behaviors, and we also have to understand our why. Now, our why is exactly that. Why do we want to be, or who do we want to be, or why do we want to be successful, or why do we want to be successful at trading? What is the emotional connection that is pushing us not to give up? Because trading is hard. Life is hard. Okay? So trading is hard as it is. Life is hard as it is. We don't need these hurdles like weeds in our mind's garden preventing us from being what we are created to be. Okay, and that is whatever we want to be. But it's whatever we want to be, not what anybody else tells us we should be or anyone tells us that we are. Okay, we are in control of our own life and our own decisions. Now, how do we understand our why? What is our why? What is your why? I understand my why. I know what my why is. Okay. The world is not an easy place to be. It's not an easy place to live. It's actually very difficult for a lot of people to accomplish the things that they want in life. If it were easy, everyone would be successful. And guess what? That's not the world we live in. The things you want in life, the success you want in life, requires something from you. It requires you to know and understand your why. Your why is what's going to get you through those hard days, those days in which everything seems to be going against you, those days where you are having personal or family issues. Your why is your fuel to push through and accomplish your goals. Why is your why so important to you? Okay? Well, because think back, all of you, think back to a time in your life, really think back to a time in your life where you really, really, really wanted something. You wanted something so bad that you refused to give up on it. Whether it was when you were a kid, when you were a teenager, whether you're an adult, whatever it is. Think back in the time of your life where you really, really wanted something so bad, you refused to give up on it. Okay? Where no was just not acceptable. You would not take no for an answer. Okay? Whether that was a girlfriend or a boyfriend, whether that was a family member, whether that was a job that you wanted, whether that was a school you wanted to go to, whether that was a sport you were competing in, or whether that was a competition or a friend. Did you achieve whatever you wanted? Okay. Did you achieve it? Well, of course you did, right? Maybe it was even a candy at the store when you were a little kid. You refused to take no for an answer. Did you get it? Yes. Now why? Because you refused to give up on it. Now, what was your why then? Okay, whatever it was the fuel that drove you to accomplish the task. No matter what obstacle got in the way, you accomplish the task. Look, the world will only give you what you refuse to give up on, or else it knows you didn't want it bad enough. So the first thing we need to do as successful people and successful traders is understand and establish our why. We need to be consciously aware of our why. Now, this why needs to be very emotional, as it is your fuel to continue this, as it is the most difficult career in the world. First assignment is to know yourself and understand your why. Is that why your family? Is that why your status? Is that why your desire to achieve? Is it your dreams? Whatever it is, write it down on a flashcard, and when times get hard or frustrating, because they will, you need to remember your why. You need to remember why you came this far and why you're not going to give up. And your why, if it's strong enough, it's going to get you through it. Why? Because you're willing to do whatever it takes because of your why. So, number one, homework assignment, you have to understand what is your why. Okay? Now, two, I am. So, trading is mentally straining, and there will not always be someone at the end of the day to pat you on the back and comfort you if you had a bad day. At the same time, there will not always be someone there to say good job when you follow your rules and make a great trade. So what do? Well, we plant seeds in your mind's garden so that we could grow flowers. Now, how do we do this? Well, we need to shape our minds. We need to shape our thoughts. We need to shape our realities. And we do this with I am statements. Because remember, whatever your thoughts are, they become ideas. Ideas turn to emotion. Emotion turn to action. Action causes reaction. Therefore, we must create these thoughts to turn them into ideas. You want I am statements to be something you want or someone you want to become. They are there to make you better in your life, relationships, trading, and family. The I am statements start with I am, and you can put whatever statement you want to become. Examples of I am statements: I am a great learner. I am a great trader. I am a loving father. I am a loving brother. I am disciplined. I am successful. I am worthy of success in trading and life. I am consistently growing. I am a goal achiever. You need to create your own list of 10 to 15 I am statements and repeat at least 5 daily in the morning and at night before you go to bed. Now, why do we do this? We are planting our own seeds. We are actually taking control of our life. We are actually taking control of our future. Okay? We are actually creating the person we want to become. We are not just going through the motions of life. We're not just taking other people's suggestion of what we should be and becoming what they think we are. We are actually taking control of our own life, and we are distinguishing what we want, who we want to be, and how we want to be. And this is how we do it. I am a great learner. I am a great trader. I am a loving father. I'm a loving mother. Whatever you want to say, whoever you want to be, you need to plant these seeds, because if you continue to plant these seeds, cultivate them and water them, they're going to grow into that. You're going to grow into that. Okay? You need to do these things if you want to plant these seeds and grow into them. So homework number 2, your I am statements. You need to write 10 to 15 of those and then practice saying at least 5 morning and night before you go to bed, and once you wake up in the morning. Once you wake up in the morning is probably the most important. Going to bed is very important as well, because when you wake up in the morning, you're already establishing those positive seeds into your mind, because you're building that foundation already. I am a great trader. I'm disciplined. I am patient. You establish those right in the morning, they're going to be on the top of your mind. Okay? You do it right before you go to bed, and guess what? You're going to be dreaming about that. You're going to be dreaming about being that person. Okay. And as you continuously put this I am statement into your subconscious mind, right? What is the power of repetition? The power of repetition is creating our subconscious mind to follow what we want it to follow. Okay. It follows that we are telling ourselves all these things. Our subconscious mind is going to take that repetition, and then it's going to automatically do it for us. It's automatically going to say, I am beautiful. I am disciplined. I am a loving person. I am patient. It's already going to cultivate that for you. Okay. Subconsciously. You're not even going to know you're going to be doing it. All right. Okay. That's homework number 2. So a little quote right here. It's what you choose to believe that makes you the person you are. And that's 1000% correct. It's who you believe you are makes you who you are. Okay. Doesn't matter who you were 5 years ago. Doesn't matter who you were 2 years ago. Doesn't matter who you were last month. If you want to become somebody different, this point on, you can. It's what you choose to believe that makes you who you are. Not what other people choose to believe about you. It's what you choose to believe about you. Nobody else. All right, so your power, we are affected by what we know. Okay? What you know and what you do not know, we are affected by. The accumulation of knowledge or lack of knowledge affects your future. It affects your bank account. It affects your family. It affects your relationships, your results. It affects your future. And most importantly, it affects your outcome on life. We are affected by results. It doesn't matter what your situation is. It doesn't matter what your job is. We're all affected by results. You need to gain results, whether that's as students, a teacher, policemen, firemen, traders, drive-through workers. You need to gain results. Every job has a result. Every action has a result. We're always affected by results. Okay? The results you get in life give you a meaning, but that meaning doesn't have to be who you are. Don't let the results of your past affect you negatively. Okay? Because they're the past. We can't change them. Doesn't matter what happened in the past. We need to focus on our future results, because our future results are going to give us that meaning. So we're affected by our dreams. What our dreams mean and our view of our future of ourselves is the most important thing in anyone's life. Now, why is that? It's because it is extremely important to make sure that the greatest pull on your life is your future, right? It's your dreams. It's who you want to become. It's who you are seeing in the future. Why? Because we can always look to the past to gain knowledge from it, but we should never live in it, because we cannot change the past, because it's behind us. But we can change the future, not change the future. We can mold the future, for it is in front of us. Do not allow your past to pull you back. Only allow your future to pull you forward. Dreams and goals become magnets. The stronger the goal, the stronger the purpose, which in turn creates the strong magnet that pulls you in that direction of your goal. These goals and purposes also pull you through tough times, hard times, losses, frustration, and all the things that will try to stop you from achieving your goals. Why can you pull through this when all this negative is happening? Because you can see the other side and the person who you have faith you will become. Goals drive us to take advantage of the future. Why would a farmer ever plant a seed today if he didn't think it would sprout a crop for him later? Why would he do that? He only plants a seed today having full faith that it will bring crops in the future, and he will benefit from the harvest. He already pictures the harvest in his mind while planting the seeds. He has faith. Now, what is faith? Well, actually, faith is the ability to see things that do not exist yet. But that is exactly how things exist. Now, what do you mean, Steve? I don't understand that. What do you mean faith is the ability to see things that do not exist yet, but that's exactly how things exist? Well, it means that this computer that you guys are all on currently, right now, would not have come about if somebody didn't think of it first. Then, not only did he think about it, but then they had the faith that they could create it and accomplish it. If someone cannot see something happening in their mind, then it will never happen. You need to see it happening before it can make it a reality. Okay? We are all creators in life. We create our realities. Okay? It is what you think of yourself that you become. We created the life that we have. Nobody else. Nobody else created it for us. We created the life that we have. You have the ability to change your life, to do something else. No matter what it is, you have the ability. Nobody else. Okay? Now, it's time to build. This leads us to the question, when should one start building this successful person or the successful trader that you want to be? The answer is, you should start building this person as soon as they are finished. Now you're like, what does that mean, as soon as they're finished? It means you don't start building a house before you know how it looks. What's inside of it? What's it's made out of? What is it used for? Is it a barn? Is it a residence? Is it in the suburbs? Is it in the city? What does it look like? What's the foundation going to be? No, you start building the house when you know exactly how the house looks, how many bedrooms it has, what it's made out of, what the inside will be, what the tools are needed, what your outcome for the house will be, if it has a pool or not, if it has a car, 2-car garage, 3-car garage. Therefore, you must create this person in your mind and then see them in their completeness before you could start building them. Look, you and I are human beings. And we have this incredible talent that no other living thing has. We have the ability to create the person we want to become. We can change our life direction in life no matter what our past was or where we came from. So start looking into the future and see where you want to be and what you want to accomplish. Who is the person you want to be? How does this person act? How does this person smile? How does this person laugh? How does this person deal with stress? How does this person deal with anxiety? How do they deal with pressure? How do they deal with happiness? How do they act with family? How do they act with friends? How many friends do they have? What type of friends do they have? What kind of car does this person have? What kind of spouse does this person have? What life does this person have? And much more of what life do you want to have in the future? Details to the way they brush their teeth, to the way they comb their hair. Create this person that you want to be. Once you have in detail created this person that you want to be, you need to visualize you are this person every day. You have to act like they act, smile like they smile, walk like they walk, handle stress like they handle it, laugh like they laugh, visualize their car when you step into your car, visualize their house when you step into your house. You have this incredible, insane power to change your life's direction at any given time. You have a choice to see your future as you see fit. Nobody else could have your future for you. You have a choice to see your future as you see fit, not the other way around. Your future doesn't choose you, you choose your future. You can live one way for 5 years, or 10 years, or 20 years, or 30 years, or 50 years. And if you decide to live a completely different life the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, guess what? You have the ability to do this. You need to make this note. Okay, make this note right now. In 5 years, I will arrive at an undirected destination, or in 5 years, I will arrive at a desired destination. I will choose which one I will arrive at. So you could either show up in life, or you could take control of your life and say, I am going to be this person. I'm going to be here in this amount of time, and you're going to go in that direction. Change just takes the steps in another direction. You either plan your life and you'll live a life you planned, or you're going to show up in life and be upset because you're not where you want to be. But in reality, you don't know where you want to be. So you need to understand who you want to be, where you want to be, and how does your future look like. Okay? So homework number 3, creating your life's direction. Who do you want to become? How does this person look? How does this person handle stress and hardship? How does this person treat others? How does this person act? How much confidence and faith does this person have? These are just suggestive questions. Okay? They don't have to be these exact questions. You're creating this person, not me. I'm giving you suggestions, but you're creating this person. So you could have your own questions. Okay? You could develop your own person. Okay? With your own questions. Okay, that's homework number 3. All right. So now I want you guys to commit. You know, this is a big thing, taking this class. This is not only going to help you in life in general, it's going to help you in your trading career. Okay, but it's not going to be easy. You need to commit. So as I commit to you, I hope that you commit to me. So this is a commitment contract. I want you all to read it out loud. You don't have to do it right now, but when the class is over, read it out loud, whether it's in a mirror or just to yourself. Read it out loud and state this. This is a contract that I, state your name, which Stephen Cruz, will acknowledge on this day, June 8th, 2020. First off, I know I have the ability, the physical, mental capacity, and determination to achieve my ambition to be a great trader. Therefore, I demand of myself persistence, discipline, continuous action towards my goal. And I am at this time stating and promising myself to commit and take action. Second, I realize that my mind is a garden, and I solely have the ability to plant the seeds or weeds to grow and control my mind. These dominating thoughts I produce will turn into feelings and produce actions, which will cause reactions. Therefore, I will concentrate my thoughts 20 to 30 minutes daily on producing seeds of fruit and flowers to create a beautiful mind. I want to think of the person I want to be or intend to become, and by doing this, I will create a clear picture of that person. Third, I know through the use of I am statements, any item statement I place in front of I am, and I truly believe with emotion will come about because why? Ideas cause emotion, that cause action, that cause what? Reaction. Okay? And using I am statements will do this. Okay? I will devote every morning and every night at least 5 to 10 minutes saying I am statements demanding of myself the development of self-confidence. Fourth, I have clearly and vividly wrote down my why. I want to become a great trader, and I will never stop trying because I know the world only gives you what you won't give up on. Therefore, I will continue to build my self-confidence and never stop until I achieve my goal. Fifth, I understand trading is difficult and no one will be there to support me, but I fully realize that no success or wealth was built on negativity and not believing it was possible. Therefore, I will remove hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism from my feelings, my vocabulary, and develop a positive attitude of love for all because I know a negative attitude towards others and or things can plant weeds in my mind's garden, which that will never bring me the success I desire. On the other hand, giving love and positivity will cause others to believe in me because I will believe in them and in myself, most importantly. Finally, I will commit my memory to this contract and I will repeat it out loud once a day, either before I go to bed or once when I wake up. I will do this with full faith that it will gradually provide seeds and influence my thoughts and actions so I will become self-confident and a successful trader. And I'm going to sign it and I'm going to date it. Okay. So that is homework number 4. Okay. So do that and then send that commitment contract back to me. And that's going to be it for the first class. Do I got any questions? No questions?
Hey, Steve, how do we get these documents?
I'm going to give them to you.
Oh, cool. All right.
David, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Out of all the things that obviously you've been doing this for quite a while, obviously there's like that mental aspect to the thing as we discussed, or you just obviously told us today. What is like the most challenging you think that you've seen people struggle with, whether it's like discipline or whether it's is there any commonality between what you see out there, what you've seen in your students or in people?
It's exactly everything here. It's getting over yourself. That is the hardest thing people have to do.
Okay.
That is the hardest thing people have to do because everybody believes that there's nothing wrong with them. But in reality, if there's nothing wrong with you, but you're not where you want to be, then obviously you're not who you want to be. So there is something wrong with you. Not saying that you're a bad person, not saying that you're not deserving. It's just you're not who you want to be. If you're not who you want to be, then there is something wrong with you because you need to level up. You need to get uncomfortable. You need to start doing something that you don't want to do, right? Whether that's hard work or that's changing the people you're hanging out with, or it's moving or getting away from toxic people. Whatever is blocking you from being successful, you need to realize that. Most people do not understand that because they're comfortable. Getting outside of your comfort zone as a human is very difficult because you're comfortable. Okay, everybody who's comfortable wants to stay comfortable because it's safe, and that goes back to our original sense that we were born with, fight or flight. If we're comfortable, we don't have that fight or flight. We're going to be comfortable now, but we always want to be better. Now, how can we be better if we're not going to be comfortable? So you need to get outside of your mind. You got to get outside of yourself, right? And you need to develop who you want to be and what it's going to take to become this person. Okay? That's the most difficult thing that everybody has. That's why they always come back to this. They always come all my top students always come back to this first lesson, and they're always saying this out of all the lessons, this is the best lesson. Now, it doesn't teach you any trading skills, but once you have those trading skills, it all comes back to all this. Because if you don't have that solid foundation of who you want to be, your confidence, and planting all those seeds, it's going to be hard to focus on the skills because you battling with all of these other weeds in your mind that you have to battle with. So, getting a clear sense of your direction and focusing on your goals is very hard for somebody to do. And understanding what your goals are and sticking with them and being disciplined, that's very difficult that people find. But it's not impossible, and people do it. It just takes work. Now, if you really want your life to change, you really want to improve, and you want to be better, then you're going to have to put in that work. You're going to have to get uncomfortable. You're going to have to put in those long hours. You're going to have to do things that you might be too tired to do. You're going to have to do things that maybe, you wanted to go out tonight or you want to go out this weekend, but you have this work to do. Well, you have to decide what's more important to you, going out this weekend or doing this work. What is more important? Hanging out with these people or doing this? Are these the friends that you even want in your life? Are the relationships that you have in your life, are they the ones that you even want? All this stuff affects your trading. You might not even, you might not know this, but it does. If you have a toxic relationship with somebody and you're going to go trade and they did something to you that weekend or that day or the night before or whatever, that's going to be on your mind. That's going to prevent your trading. You're not going to have a clear, ambitious goal. You're going to have a clouded judgment, and you're going to prevent yourself from winning because you're going to have these clouded judgment and you're not going to be able to think clearly. So you have to clearly and vividly know what you want. That's the most difficult thing that people have to do.
Sure.
That makes sense?
Thank you. Yes, yes, it does. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else?
Should we email this back to you before the next class, or how do you want us to turn it in?
Yeah, I mean, the creating yourself and all that, that's probably going to take you a little bit longer. But the contracts and anything else that you finish, yeah, definitely would like that before the next class. If you need more time, that's okay. I just want to see that, you know, you do it, you know, and you actually put effort into it. Listen, I'm gonna, you know, lay it all straight like I lay it to all my other classes. I'm not gonna be on you to do your work. Okay, this isn't gonna be high school, and I'm not gonna grade you, and you know, I'll help you in your homework, you know, but I'm not gonna be your mom or your dad on you about doing your homework. If you're not doing your homework, that's your decision. You're hurting yourself. You're not hurting me. Okay, my teaching is, you know, I try to do my best because you're a reflection of me, but I could only provide you the knowledge. It is up to you to put in the studying and the understanding. If you don't do the homework, that's not hurting me. You're the one not benefiting, not me. Okay, so don't think I'm going to be on you telling you to do your homework. Do your homework. Do this, do that. Okay, send it to me, but I'm not going to be holding anyone's hands. You want something in life, you're going to do it. If you don't, it just shows how much you don't want it, right? And that's something that, you know, everybody has to learn on their own, right? This life is only going to give you what you refuse to give up on. And if you don't do the work, then you're already giving up on it. Anybody else? Any other questions? All right. All right. Once I stop the recording here, it's gonna generate, and then it'll be available probably in about 30 or 45 minutes. And then once that's available, then I'll send it out to you guys, and then you could have it. All right. So I'm gonna stop the recording now.